the final presentation for the Java 2 travel booking app that we've created for our final project. The basic idea of this is a travel booking application. It allows users to select a destination and input personal and travel details, and then it pushes those details to the database and saves all that data as a packaged trip object in the database. So we started with a much larger project, and we limited our scope as the project progressed. The greatest limiting factor there was our time frame. Uh, we had more grandiose ideas of being able to do a lot of dynamic manipulation of data, and save different things to different tables, and then be able to pull different things, and it just wasn't feasible in the time that we had available to us. The project itself implements such languages and tools as HTML, CSS, specifically using the Bootstrap framework for CSS. It also, of course, implements Java, Timeleaf, MySQL, and Spring for that JDBC component. As to my specific contributions, I'll begin by noting that I have uh, kind of guided us in a lot of the planning. So this was our original class diagram that we created for the model classes. Uh, this is my Figma account that I started this, and then we all contributed to it. Um, I also kind of took a role in doing a lot of the coordination for meetings and planning. This was another example of that. Um, for the coding, though, my biggest contributions were most certainly the HTML, CSS, specifically that Bootstrap component. Um, I did a lot of, I created the trip details.html file that allows you to input data. I also created the car rental model, the destination model, and the flights uh, model classes. My other primary job was managing the repository. Uh, I can show you the repository here. Um, we have now in total about 65 commits to this repository. I was in charge of the pull requests, of which we have had 17 total. And I went through, merged the code, approved the code, and such. That was my one of my main roles. And as I said before, I did a lot of coordination with the meetings. Uh, Specifically, here's the trip details class working. Let me just get all of these open. Do that, and here, and then I'll fill it in with some dummy data. Uh, the one of the recommendations I have, in the future, if we had done things differently, if we had more time, would have been having more validations put in here. As you can see, I'm going to have to go in here and do a little bit of this because otherwise there are going to be errors that it will not actually push it to the database because of the errors. So I think with that, it should push to the database. There we go. And then it'll do this summary page. I think me and Maya and Misty all contributed to this one. Uh, I put in the basic, and then I think they added in the Java functionality to this. And then if you hit edit, it'll fill in here, and you can go in and edit it. And then you can also come over here to the database, and you'll be able to see. If I refresh, there it is. It's all in there now. The destination table is being used. This was Misty's work. This is being used to populate that select object or select field, and basically choose a predetermined data destination. More recommendations being divvy out the work a little bit better, have a more detailed plan, and would dedicate a certain amount of time to researching and learning the technologies. And making it more secure would definitely be adding validation, sanitizing the data ahead of time, using some prepared statements for SQL queries, and add better error trapping. With that, I think that is my final project. And thank you very much. Thank you for the semester, and have a good day. One note that I need to add on to the previous recording, and that is that we also attempted to add in a JavaScript component here. I don't know that it made it to the final upload, but it can be found in the GitHub. in the code here, but there was an attempt to add in a button that basically allowed you to add a dynamic number of people by pressing that, and then you could this section would duplicate itself essentially as many times as you wanted. However, we never were able to get that fully functional, but I wanted to add that in just so that it was made known that it was attempted and that that was part of my contribution to the code. However, it did not make it to the final product as it was just too complex for our project and for our time frame.